Welcome back. We've been joined by a special guest. Many of us are assigned pets, a series of pets, while we're here at Earth Recovery Planet, or Earth Hotel, so to speak. And so, as a comedian friend of mine says, life is a series of cats, because God knows that our journey here can be challenging. So we need recovery pets to help us out. So the topic this week is the unusual one that Earth is a recovery planet. And I think it sort of boils down to this fundamental intuition that you might have, and you can tell me what you think of this, but I am fervently of the position, passionately of the position that consciousness is ongoing and that consciousness is primary, that God is consciousness and that we are subsets of God, so to speak. And because consciousness is primary, it's ongoing, we, as far as being in time, there was some place we were 5,000 years ago, there's some place we happen to be now, and there'll certainly be some place we'll be in 5,000 years or 50,000 years, or you name it. But we happen to find ourselves here now, and we find ourselves here at Earth Recovery Planet because this planet offers exceptionally powerful dynamics of learning and growth for beings that are right about our level of consciousness. Beings that aren't at Earth level of consciousness, they're someplace else, but we're here, and Earth has these remarkable and utterly unique characteristics of it. So one of my favorite authors, Emmett Fox, he talks about what he thinks are the two great things that are to be learned while we're on Earth Recovery Planet, and largely why we were sent here. And this is not to say these are the only things to learn or the only adventures or the only misadventures, but this he would characterize as primary. And I find it very interesting. He says, the first thing we learn is that life, being itself, is spiritual, or it is the allness and the availability of God, is how he says it. Now, I would translate that. I love the way that he says it, but life is spiritual, life is consciousness. And this is a great milestone for any human being to arrive at. And you can really see the tug of war on this planet between those who are spiritual by nature and those who are material by nature. And so the history of this planet has been a variety of worldviews, ranging from highly spiritual to nowadays what I would call materialist fundamentalism, which is all of life can be reduced down to dead bits of information or matter, and that's actually what's going on. And so on this planet, we can wake up and come back to the truth that life is spiritual, it's consciousness, it's of God, and that God is available to each and every one of us in any moment that we would turn our mind toward God. Now is the moment of salvation. Now is the appointed time. And that's something that we'll do or we won't do while we're here. We might get distracted. Money, fame, pleasure, you name it, might grab our attention. The material world and all of its subtleties and all of its seductions might grab us. And if that's the case, we will be sucked into that. And then guess what? 300 or 400 more trips to Earth to work that out, no problem. The great Yogananda said, it takes about 1 million years of Earth-like existence to come to self-realization, of course, implying that there are many other planets to visit. The other great thing we learn here is the virtually infinite power of thought to shape our reality. In other words, we are not subject to external circumstances that are shaping our lives. We are not victims. And again, look at Earth and this enormous preponderance and the tug of war between those who choose victimhood and those who don't. And again, this is for you to feel around and understand for yourself. But until we really realize it's our own thought and our own emotion combined together that's shaping our current reality, then we are simply, how shall we say, ping pong balls being thrown around in a hurricane. And it is something we're sent to Earth Recovery Planet to wake up and remember that we have our hands on the rudder of our own life. And unless and until we can begin to control our thinking and our emotion, not just our thinking, but control our thinking and couple it with our feeling, that we begin to use prayer and the ability to create in alignment with God's will. And upon learning that life is spiritual and the allness and availability of God, and as through enough suffering and misery, we begin to realize it's our own thought and our own emotion and our own behavior that's shaping things, then we begin to come back into alignment. We begin to wake up to the reality of who we are, not miserable children of perdition, subject to being thrown onto a planet without any meaning or purpose, as some would say, and instead growing spiritual beings, always rising up to new levels of understanding. Then we will, in 5,000 years or 50,000 years, good golly, the places we will go. And I can hardly wait to see those travel brochures, because as John Lennon said, surely we're not here to live in pain and fear. And yet, if we're living in pain and fear, it simply means there's work to be done here, lessons to be learned, adventures to be engaged, and great understanding that's available for us should we remember that we are conscious beings of God, and that our thought and our feeling and our behavior is shaping things. And then, well, as Looney says, the sky's the limit. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow.